What's up, everybody? This is my first live stream. Gonna be doing a lot of these. I'm working, this is day one on Bitcoin Girl project. So, yeah, check her out. Alrighty. Good to see everyone, all one or two of you. I'm doing a Bitcoin Girl project. Essentially, it's a dancer. Making a big dancer. We got the question list. I wanted to go on record on saying I was talking about my new torch on one of my last posts. I'm gonna go ahead and say how little I know about these torches. I had my 50 for probably, and been working on it every day for 5 years, and had no idea that it had a number. Someone asked me, what size Herbie you have? And I was like, guess it's about that tall. And he's like, yeah, jackass, what number, what sizes? I have, like, pick one, because I don't know. I had no idea. So they make a ton of torches. That's about all I know. I really like them. I don't worry too much about what I'm on. Just what I'm going to do on it. We're just doing a little prep work right now. Questions. We start here pretty soon.
You ready for the first question?
We'll give her a shot.
So I think this one's appropriate. If you ever had the opportunity to change your career path to anything else, what would you change it, or what would you change it to, or would you stay being an artist?
Well, I do have a choice. I can do a lot of stuff. I've had tons of odd jobs. I've used dynamite. I've done all kinds of shit, and so I do have my choice. Essentially, I want to make stuff. I've always been a maker. Ever since I was young, I was into creating things. Not like take apart electrical stuff and build it, and not like that. Nothing brainy like that. Always been a part of me. It's very easy. I mean, I condition that part of my brain more than anything else. I'm lost a lot of times at other stuff because I'm so consumed at new projects and new ideas and trying to propagate that in my mind as well. So yeah, I have a choice, and there's no way in hell I'd want to do anything else if at all. Although I have a family, I'm taking care of my mother, and I feed a lot of mouths, so if it took me doing something else to feed them, that's it's a layup. So since I do have my choice at this point, this is the thing. So I'm just putting stuff in the kiln as I put it together. If you see me go away for a second.
What kind of tree do you call it?
I myself like to run it a little higher. I'm always dealing with a little thicker glass. So I think it's at 1065. If I'm working on a real stable color and a kind of a bigger piece, I'll go up to 1070, even 1080 towards the last part of the piece, just to make sure the big guy and all its thins and thicks are happy. I also want to say that I have had no lessons. My experience on kiln temps, on sculpting, on every damn thing I do on this thing is completely self-taught. So don't judge me. I know very little by the books, I guess you'd say, but hands-on, I've got a great deal of that. So doing the prep for her legs, I'll end up covering this in grape.
What is grape?
Grape is color. It's a lot of people use it for a black, but it's not super black. It's almost a little transparent if you look at it, which is what we wanted for this piece. So, ooh, I just stuck that right in the flame. I'll blow this up in front of everybody. Oh, I guess I can turn my air on, since how we're running the compressor. So what do you got for...
We'll go with another serious question. We'll do some
Alright.
When did you first realize this is Boro Junkie?
Boro Junkie, he's awesome. Good buddy, yes. He has some of my work, and he's always a good positive supporter. Love him.
He asked, when did you first realize sculpting glass was something that you wanted to do? Which glass artist was your biggest influence?
Both easy questions. I have sculpted a lot. Actually started sculpting, my brother brought clay into the house when I was really young. And that was my first time really sculpting something I loved, fell in love with it, and I've done a ton of it over the years. So it's always been in me, I guess. I've done a lot of wood carving, done some stone carving, metal sculpting, carving, grinding. I've done it at a lot of different mediums, so I knew I wanted to do that way before I was ever introduced to glass. And like I've said before, I'm not pinned to any one medium in a sense. Glass is most definitely not my only vision. When I come up with pieces, I see all kinds of elements with them, not hardly ever just glass. So by the time glass hit, I was neck deep and all that. So, and what was the second part of that?
Which glass artist was your biggest influence, or is your biggest influence?
It's both, I guess, fairly easy questions. I really didn't have much influence early on in my career. For the first 5, 6, 7 years, I knew nobody. I'd see a little bit of stuff on glasspipes.org, an early platform for artists and pipe makers. And but very little.
If you walk away, just pause your talk.
Just stop. Yeah. Okay. So I really had no outside influences early on. I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad. I definitely formed my own opinion of what I wanted to do. I don't look at anyone else's and like, oh, I think I'll try that, or my inspiration comes from myself. I mean, I do find inspiration in the world around me, but not from other people's work. Mostly just movies, I don't know, weird things like that, not anything like someone's creation or work. And now they all inspire me. Everyone that I've met, especially the bigger named artists that I've met, are just gems. They're just awesome people, and I'm super grateful and lucky to know the ones I do. So, yeah.
Okay, so you just did describe what you just did. Why did you put it in the kiln?
I just punnied up which a punny is more or less just a handle for you to work off of. Punnied up some thicker rod. I'm going to use those for her legs, and because it's thicker, well, two parts, because it's thicker, I want to, and I've done a little work on one end. If I just let it cool right there, there could be a chance of some stress being created, one cooling off quicker than the other, whatnot. But mostly so I can just grab it and go right into the flame when I am ready to work on it. So it kind of serves a couple purposes.
So have you drawn this out? Do you know?
No.
It's just in your brain?
It's hardly in my, well, I mean, it's, I know I'm making a dancer, stripper. I don't even know what position are we wanting on her? Do we know yet? I mean, we want her legs spread because we're putting on, we want her legs spread, not for any dirty reasons, just because, so maybe holding on to the pole, that's a hard, I don't want to act too much of that shit out. So, holding onto the pole with both hands. I need to know before I start.
Just one.
And where's the other one?
Back, maybe.
Like she's
Bouncing.
riding?
Yeah.
Riding
And
the
she had
boat?
one behind, like this, and then the back. That would be
Maybe like over her face or something, maybe? Both legs planted. Probably easier for connections and
Yeah, there's one
whatnot.
wrapped around the pole.
Whoa. I guess I could do that. That brings up a lot of, around the pole, grabbing it and like leaning back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really, is that the way we want to do this? I think two legs planted would serve another purpose because we're going to put underwear on her. So we need to be, right, well, I mean, we could do it so if it could be wrapped around, we could just have her in that position and put the undies on, then slide the pole through. Well, we only wanted the underwear to hold the Bitcoins. We don't necessarily have to have, but if it's all black light lit, she's got some white drawers on.
Yeah.
It would kind of pop.
Can they glow too?
Huh?
No, probably not.
What?
I was wondering if they could glow.
Oh, if
Like
they're
a big
white,
one.
they'll
Oh,
pop
yeah, they
for
will.
sure.
They'll pop purple, right?
Right,
That'd be
right.
awesome. That would be
So-
really awesome.
So both legs spread. I'm just trying to get this image in my head. Both legs spread, arching the back, butt out kind of thing, holding on to the, I need a vision. I need to see this thing. I will get there. Let's get on the legs and the prep and stuff. All right.
Start with the legs.
All right. You like that order? All right. So we got another questione.
Yes, we do. Glass by Ariel.
Oh, she's a very good friend of mine.
She wants to know
What?
your biggest musical influence.
I probably listen to more Tupac than anybody, but I listen to everybody. I've always been around music through my family and whatnot, so I can listen to anything. Mostly dance music, something that makes me want to move my butt. Yeah, I would say Tupac and listen to a lot of pop, radio, top 40 stuff. Kind of a poppy fella. like the dancing.
What's your favorite music to listen to while you're creating?
Definitely, like I said, something that makes me want to dance. Something that makes me want to dance. If I was getting into something real hectic, I'd put headphones on and I needed that alone time, so to speak. But I've gotten better at not needing that. I like cerebral music a lot of times, no words, classical music. Sometimes that's real nice for when you're really concentrating on something for a long time. But yeah, I'm easy like Sunday morning. I'll listen to anything.
Next question.
If you see my playlist, it's all over the board. Lionel Richie, Tupac. I mean, it's everywhere.
Do you like UFC?
Yes.
Okay.
Love UFC.
Zach YP710?
Zachy P710, that's my son.
Oh, nice.
It's my oldest boy.
Nice.
You should already know this question.
Who's your favorite UFC
Fighter? Oh shit. Hard telling. Honestly, right now I really like watching the girls, because they don't mess around. They get after it. I like a ton of fighters, have friends that fight. I was fight training years ago for a while myself. So I love it. I watch pretty much all the fights. I'm not like wanting to fight. Just always been into sports, and that's one of the sports I was into for a while, and just a fan.
So what do you think of the silver fight? Silver fight or something? They got set?
Oh
No, it was McGregor and
Oh yeah.
McGregor fight?
Yeah, the McGregor Mayweather fight. Went about like I expected. Entertaining, and I'm just glad it was all over. It was getting a little hectic with the name calling and stuff. I'm not really into that, but very entertaining and definitely worth the $100, I thought. It was a good watch.
Alright, next question from Caleb
Falk.
Falk.
Caleb Falk. Yep.
How do you get your hair so shiny?
Oh, my hair's so shiny. Oh, Caleb. I use eggs. I have this weird oatmeal egg. No, I'm just kidding. I just wash it, and that's about it. I'm a hair farmer. I've grown out my hair, donated it, which this is going to be donated as well. It grows fast. I've grown it out so many times I've lost track, but yeah, just a natural shine, Caleb. Natural. All natural. All right. I need a point. All natural. Alrighty.
Alright, let's talk about growing glass together projects.
Alright.
That would be personal hygiene.
Nice.
Next question for you is, what's the most difficult piece ever made, and what made it so difficult? And this is asked by H_Alex with 3 X's.
Oh, I like that. The Tesla piece. It was a collaboration I did with Mike Svensson. It took us 2 months, full time, every day. I don't think we took a day off, really. in those 2 months on that thing. It was hard in many ways. It was hard because we had no flipping idea what they were talking about when they were like, put this widget over here and connect it to this. We had no idea what they were talking about. We had no idea actually what we were doing. But we built that thing, every screw. I soldered in every component on the motherboard. I mean, it was a full, we didn't buy a finished coil, we built it. So it was tough because it was uncharted territory. And also because it was, I mean, hard. We didn't get a paycheck for 2 months. We just worked on that the whole time. So there was stresses with that because neither one of us are loaded. We starved through some of, I mean, it was everything you could think of. We went through on that project. Things not working and not knowing what it was, what the hell we were doing, made it just doubly hard. I'd call my brother and ask him, what the hell is this guy talking about? And yeah, it was but it was awesome, so freaking awesome. Still would not trade one of the bad days I had on that thing for nothing. That's, I would, if without those dives and dips in the morale, so to speak, that we had, it just made the high spots so much nicer. There was a while there that I was like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna do this shit again. What was I thinking? What were we thinking, Mike? What are we doing? And then the very second it was done, I wanted to do it again and do another one. And so very, very rewarding project. We were tuning this thing, but right when we just started firing this thing up, we didn't know what it was going to sound like, there's really no way of knowing. I mean, I guess we could have YouTubed it, but there's still no way of knowing any of the specifics. So we fired this thing up for the first time, and it's loud. It's uncomfortably loud, and it you can feel it in your body. You can just feel what it's doing to the air. It's changing the air. And after we shut it down after that first time of testing it, we're like, you all right, man? I don't know, I don't know, you okay? And we like coddled each other and making sure it was interesting, but never forget it, and I hope I get to do many others like that, because like I said, some of the hardest ones are the most rewarding. So how'd it go? Ship all that and all that?
Got shit, got food, got some water.
Who's going to be the Z-body? So this is our first go around, guys. Don't judge us too harshly. We will have an edited version of this after the fact, done with all these other cameras that will pick stuff up nicer than these webcams will. So
Let's get another question.
all right, let's do it.
Who's dropping the ball and asking the question?
Let's see, what am I doing here?
Favorites or favorite street?
Uh-oh.
Food.
Favorite food? Oh, jeez. Well, I'm not a very big man. I've never taken, I mean, I like good food, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't hold a lot of salt for me, in the sense that if I could take pill, like an astronaut pill, and get my food, I would, because it's a lot of times it just takes so much time, and got my mind on other stuff. But went vegan for a while, almost died because I wasn't eating anything at that point. I didn't know enough about it to do that, to hang with it very long. Meat free, went meat free for a long time. That was really easy. That wasn't a big deal. I like that. Now I'm just kind of floating around between not eating enough and not eating enough. So favorite food? Favorite food is probably not eating. Just hot air from this. No. Yeah, not a big eater.
And that was that 17 guy. You know that
Oh yeah? That 710 guy?
710. I should read.
710. Not personally. See him in my feed and stuff.
So, fungi_lighting
Yes.
would like to know who are the top 3 artists you would like to do a collaboration with.
Oh man.
Or just maybe not your top 3, but 3 off the top of your head. How's that?
Shite. There's so many. I'd hate to single anyone out for fear that the ones I left out would think I didn't want to work with them. I couldn't even say. I dig everyone's steez, and I can't wait to work with any artist I can. I really that's my favorite part, is the human connection. I mean, the glass that's created is cool, but holds, like I said before, very little salt on the whole scheme of things. The real prize to me is the human connection and the friendship gained. So in that case, I just want to keep working with whoever I can, whenever I can, and meeting new people. I really enjoy that part of it. It's my favorite part of this job. If you want to call it a job. Yeah. You 5 people that are watching, whichever camera you're on, are fucking awesome. Hopefully can figure something out about my crazy ass through all this. Do we have the live question thing on too? Yeah, if you guys have questions as we go, by all means spit it out. We're just hanging out here, eating, smoking, and or not much eating. I could slam this banana real quick. I just eat a banana on film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Nice and slow.
Gonna stop and eat a little something real quick for about 30 seconds. Smoke them if you got them. I'm not eating this in front of anybody.
Mathew Neck says, were you just really getting into glass blowing when we first met?
No. I'd been doing it for a while, Matt. I've been doing it for a minute.
That's our Florida Xbox.
Yeah, it's a buddy we met playing Halo 3 years ago. Oh, some good times.
Dude, we were counting it. It's been 10 years.
10 years since.
10 fucking
Really?
years since we played the first time that day.
Oh, I miss those days. Freaking out, screaming obscenities. Oh, getting so worked up, could barely freaking talk. Oh, it was awesome. And not awesome.
So, Cosmos420, our Instagram buddy.
Yes, he's a very good friend of mine. has more of my pieces than anyone. Does some of my best work. Yeah, he's awesome.
He would like to know what your lifting routine is.
Well, I'm smaller right now than I've been in 10 years. I started having some trouble with my center of my back, which is what I call buster's back or glass blower's back. From all this up here, every glass blower watching this I'm sure knows that there's this weird thing you get between your shoulder blades that you cannot stretch out. You can't, like your lower back, you can do these stretches. This shit you cannot stretch out, and so I had some problems back there that I didn't fix, and I just kept working out. Actually really started pushing it and started getting numbness in my hands. So I had to stop. I haven't worked out in 5 months. The smallest I've been in a long time. So it sucks. It's hard to keep my mind in the right spots, because that's always been my medicine in a sense. But so starting with yoga, I'm gonna try and make all those muscles back there happy first, and then absolutely we'll get back in it, because I'm been a gym rat forever. Know a ton about it. I could be a trainer, but I'd rather just tell people what I feel like and give them help that way instead of like full time. I couldn't do that shit. But learned a lot about it. Really like it. Unfortunately, for now, I'm riding pine. Riding the pine.
And when you are working out, what's your gym philosophy? Are you
Form, without a doubt. I could get a 20-pound set of dumbbells. Like you see these guys grabbing the big dumbbells and all this shit, and form is so much more important, and breathing and concentration. Feeling the muscle do the work instead of just roosting up curls. That ain't gonna do shit.
Have you ever heard of the mind-muscle connection?
Yes, that was actually Arnold's. One of Arnold's biggest philosophy was, I got a poster of him right there. I've followed a lot of his philosophies because they were same deal. It's not necessarily pushing a ton of weight. You just gotta know what the hell you're doing while you're doing it. So yes, that's it just joneses me out thinking about it. I miss it. Can't wait to jump all the way back in it.
What's your favorite body part to look at?
You know, when I was the most serious and was taking supplements and was going to compete, and legs were, as it took so long to build the what you were talking about, the muscle-mind connection, which more or less just means that you can talk. I mean, everyone pick their arm up and do a flex their bicep, and it's easier to gain that connection with that muscle because you've done it since you were a kid or always done it. Well, you build the same connection with these body parts, and you can almost get a pump on them with just thinking about them. So used to be legs. That was a while ago.
What's your favorite leg movements?
I liked squats. They were the hardest form-wise, and just sucked to do in a sense. They were never ever real fun. But I like it when shit gets hard. That's when I really start to. I don't want it if it's that easy. I like the bumpier road for sure. So yeah, squats for sure. What the hell am I doing here?
Ready for another question?
Yes, sir. It's bright. Yep, she's a bright one.
El Guapo.Glass.
Yes. El Guapo. Oh yes, El Guapo.
Do you have shop mates? And how much bench space you usually run as a standard? If so, shop question.
Shop questions. I do have shop mates. They're my two sons. I've recently moved back to Idaho to my mom lives with me and she's battling cancer right now, so I'm here. Just want to be here for her. And my boys are aspiring glass blowers, so helping them as much as I can with all that as well. So, oh yeah, and so you can come blow glass here anytime you want. As far as full-time, don't have enough room. Don't know what the future holds as far as where I'm going to be blowing glass, but as long as my mom's still kicking butt, I'm going to be here with her. So might end up getting a new location that's better fit for all this live stuff we've got planned. But it'll still be here in Idaho. And yeah.
Talk about your mom.
Oh yeah, sure. She's battling multiple myeloma. It is, what happens is the cancer builds antibodies within the bone and builds so many that, and your blood is made through, inside of your bones. So, this cancer builds antibodies, and what little I know of it, so much so that there's no room for your blood making capacity. So, after I lost my sister to cancer years ago, talked my mom into moving in with me, and she started feeling tired. I went and got a checkup, and of course, low blood flow will make anyone tired, so that's how it was started, and of course they found it, and since then has had some a little bit come up in her breast and a little bit in her back, and tell you, I always thought I was the toughest thing in town in my prime, I guess. Just an attitude, I guess, but that's nothing compared to my mama. She was there for my pops until he passed, and then she moved closer to her mom, my grandmother, until she passed. Then she dropped everything once my sister was diagnosed and lived with her until she passed. She's had a lot of tough jobs in her life as far as that goes, and even at her sickest, through this deal with her, she'll never say, "Oh, I feel like shit, this sucks." Not one time. So yeah, I don't know how she does it. That's my mama.
The prognosis was recent, right? She's been into treatment.
She's been battling. It's been, what is it, 5-6 years now? It might even be more. Yes.
So how's it going?
She just finished, I think, 3 days ago, a batch of radiation for this spot in her back. That kind of beat her up a little bit.
How was it on you? Take you into the creative process?
Well, I can say that in my past, some of the best work I've ever done has been in some of my lowest times mentally. But fuck, man, I can find that. I can find that in other ways. When my sister was diagnosed, I also quit everything I was doing and moved in with her till she passed. And watching my only sister die a little bit every day was, I can't even tell you what that's like. Most horrific fucking thing there is on the planet. So I'm not good at any of it. It sucks. But my pops is dead. The matriarch of my family, which I would consider was my sister, she was the glue for functions and keeping track of everybody and all that. And it's just, life has vastly changed since I was young and had such a tight-knit family, and yeah, fucking life's crazy. Crazy.
Do you know how your mom and dad met?
What's that?
Do you know how they met, your mom and dad?
Yeah, my dad was a roofer, and he seen my mom in the backyard, or seen my mom next door, or some job he was working at, and I think he liked what he seen and made a move. That's all I can remember, I think. My dad was a very strong man as well. He's small, he's thin like me, not a big guy, but you know, just like me when I was in construction, there wasn't no one outwork us, you know, so I got good genes. Hopefully I can make them proud. With what I was given.
We're talking about family. Talk about your sons real quick. How long have they, how you asked the question, did you hope that they would want to do arts and the same medium as you have? Like, how did that progress? What did that look like? How did they come into glass blowing?
You know, I was a big rock climber before they were born and after, but I remember trying to get them into it at a very young age, and they were like, this is fuck. This is not fun being up here in these heights, and I don't like any of this shit. And after that, I realized that, you know, anything they want to do, I want to give them all I can to make that happen and guide them, but I don't want to influence them as far as what choices to be made, because that's on them. You know, it's just someone that don't do art or is not a maker, can't even fathom it. They're like, I can't make shit. I ain't got an artistic bone in my body, which is generally not necessarily true, but so yeah, it's been around. They've seen me making the weirdest shit over the years. Yeah, paper mache stuff. I was building bells out of K-tanks, carving on them and welding on them and making these garden bells. This is forever ago. So they had a whole life so far of watching me create stuff, so not sure that's what got them into glass or into that sort of thing. And they're not doing any sculpting or anything. They're pretty green, so they're just pipe making, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Any other questions?
Mathew Neck online right now wants to know, on an average week, how many hours do you spend at the George Glass
Well, I was just thinking about this today, when I was outside. One time I was outside today, I was like, wow, the air moves out here and everything. I should try this more. I never take time off. Only when I have to. It's bad. And it's not like I'm crushing pieces out and just, I need money, and it's nothing like that, but I am in here every day doing something. No one does my prep or my shipping or any of that stuff, so as a lot of you already know how many hats you gotta wear. So I'm in here all the damn time, literally. I don't even remember when the last, like, I'm gonna take today off. I don't even, doesn't make a lot of sense. Of course, it's not like a real job. I mean, still gotta be on your toes and whatnot, but it's pretty alright. All these fine people making all these cool things and rubbing elbows with all of them, and I'm pretty freaking lucky. So I'm in here all the damn time. If you come hang out with me anytime, we'll probably be in here hanging out. So yeah,
Speak to so do you listen to that one wherever?
a little bit, just when it comes in.
There's a lyric where he says that the great artists weren't great because they were born that way. They were great because they just created a lot of art. They just did it over and over. They practiced and practiced and practiced and did it. And so you're in here all the damn time and you're fucking slaying it, man. Your artwork is absolutely incredible.
Well, thank you.
How do you talk to practice and put it doing the work regardless of, you know what I mean? You know where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so lucky. I've always tried to, even when I started blowing glass, I sculpted right off the bat. And I was like, oh, I just can't wait till I don't have to push a bowl, and I want to do this fine art thing, and you know, I just wanted to be accepted, I guess, for the most part. And I felt like at the time, this is a long time ago, when you know, you told anybody what you're doing, they're like, Jesus, so that's what you're doing, huh? Wow, okay, so wow, good luck with that shitty life or whatever. So it's vastly changed for me. That I love making something that's, I mean, as high-end artist as I can come up with, at least on the glass side, and pushing a bowl in it. It's changed for me a lot. So I'm not sure I understood that.
The question was putting in the work. You do the work, and that's how you
Oh yeah.
process.
Yes, yeah, it's that without a doubt. And you know, I have to pay rent. And honestly, the paying the rent part is why I post on Instagram, because people got to see your stuff. In the early days, I would make shit and not even show anybody. In the early days of glasspipe.org, whatever the hell it was called, I had buddies who were like, Joey, what do you put this shit on there? Nobody's doing this shit. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it for them. It has nothing to do with what people think. I was just turned off by the whole just that. And I'd have buddies call me. I had my buddy call me one time in the morning, the next day after a long night sesh. I was there by myself, and he's like, what the fuck, Joey? I'm like, what, dude? Jeez. He's like, dude, what in the fuck? I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? He's like, what is this in the kiln? I'm like, why, is it broke? He's like, no, because I hadn't really sculpted. He hadn't seen much of my stuff because I always box it up, and he was like blown away at something I did or something. He's like, what are you doing? And I ended up grabbing that and putting it right in a box. I mean, the process was over for me. I still have pieces there on the shelf and giving a lot away. You know, for the longest time, the finished piece, and it's still a lot the same way. Don't hold a lot of salt for me. I'm not like harking on what I did and just got my arm around this whole project. Yep, this is what I did it. Yeah, I fucking did. Nah, I don't. I'm on to the next. My mind is over that. I'm done with that. Why? I don't know. I'd look at it. It's different for me. I'm taking in the process. I'm not like, hey, look what I can do. I can do it better. I can, you know, fuck all that. I'm not. I do this for me. And because I need to pay rent, you all get to see that side. Because honestly, I would be much happier not posting, not doing any of that stuff. Because it's really hard for me. This cameras, all this stuff. These are my really good friends pushing me into doing something they feel like people should see, and I appreciate them to the nth for that, because in my heart I know it's probably a good thing and it's good for me, get me out of my box. But yeah, it's a little different for me. It's not your typical check me out, I did this. Yeah, I just barely tried to start, like last year, keeping some of my work that don't necessarily make the cut. I just break it, not give one shit about it, you know. So I'm trying to get better at what I'm doing, but yeah, it's interesting. Not in this for the likes, although it means the world to me, don't get me wrong. It's just I would never want to boast, or how can I say this, I'd never want to do it to be cool or whatever. This is, I'd be doing this without the cameras, I'd be doing the same shit. So, but I do love the human connection. I love hanging out with people. I love talking and stuff. So, yeah, I went way out of the scope there on that question, didn't I?
No, that was great. You sort of bounced around with it a little bit. Why don't you describe what you just did with that wad of, what was that, black cherry?
Grape.
Grape.
Just
what you're doing with the legs.
just covered the clear. Tried to get it kind of thick, so I don't want it too transparenty. A little bit. So striped it down, changed positions with the punny so I could have a finished end and a finished end. So that's one prepped out leg. She's gonna be kind of a big girl. Yeah, so I'll need to do this twice. Put it in the kiln. Alright. I'm ready.
Finish up with the rest of the describe on that.
What's that? Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, have another live stream. Underscore innovations.
Oh yeah, Anil.
Anil.
Yeah. He's a big buddy of mine.
Would love to know.
Uh-oh. I can
For
only...
the love of God, would love to know how many licks to the center Are they too comp?
Man, him with the hard questions. I don't know. I'd never put that to the test. I'm not a. I've tried to just lick a sucker from start to finish, and I can't do it. I go for a bit, and I just got to get my teeth in on it. So I wouldn't be able to honestly answer that. I'd give her a guess, but it wouldn't be an educated guess at all, because I can only lick so long before I got to bite.
I think the owl on the commercial always...
3? 3? That's. I'm somewhere where the owl is, I think. Going a little longer because it's not as thick a glass.
So the grape melts at a lower temperature than the clear?
I'm just putting all the heat on the color. Only want the clear to get so much. It's thicker too, so it's easier to keep, melt the thinner of the two. But I'm strategically keeping the heat away from, focusing all the heat on just the color, so it's doing all the moving. I do this a little bit differently probably than a lot of people. Like most shit, I guess. It's like, what is he doing? Oh, okay. Why do you do it that way? Got another question?
Yeah.
What was the last one? Oh yeah, Nick with the licking.
Yeah. Okay. Is this making any sense? This is OG bag gunking? OG PA gunking?
Oh, you reading that right? Okay, what's he saying? Oh, it's probably the Iggy Pop reference. I get that a lot. Older I get, I guess. I've looked like people my whole life apparently. I've had, I was Mark Slaughter back in the butt rock days. I've been lead singer to the Chili Peppers for years. I mean, I had this lady, this was last year, I think it was flying to hang out with Salt, and this girl literally dragging her kids, coming at me full speed with a look in her eye. I haven't had a woman look at me like that before. And she drug her kids all the way up to me to ask for my autograph, and was like, you're probably not going to be the autograph that you're thinking of. She was very embarrassed, as was I. But yeah, I get that a lot. It's insane. I don't know, why did we start talking about that? About, oh, Iggy, yeah. I have gotten Iggy a few times. Hopefully I don't look like Iggy for another 10 years. The motherfucker's been he went hard in the paint for years, I think. Looked like that.
Glass. Never see any question of flat earth or round.
Oh. Trying to get the flat earthers. I think it's obvious that the earth is round. But I wouldn't stand on any soapbox and yell my opinion, because it's just a frickin' opinion. So my opinion is that it's round. Doesn't mean I want to argue with the flat earthers. They may have good points. I am not into that. I try not to voice my opinion about anything unless I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about, which ain't very many things. So round. Round.
What's your, it's a simple lemon guava.
Alright.
How long usually, what's your average time on how long it takes you to make a piece? Because of how detailed you are.
Of course it varies with every piece. I tend to, I don't know. I was working on a mouth last night and I just lost myself in it and was probably working on it way longer than I needed to be. But I have with everything I do, pictures I'm taking, the work, the finished product of what I'm working on is all based on an intuition that I've always, or at least in the last few years, called my, he's a middle-aged high school art teacher, and he's inside me, and he just keeps telling me, you know, these videos I do for my pieces, I've taken the longest ones, took me 6 hours to think of, 6 hours of looking up music, solid, to come up with a song for a piece. So, when I do those videos on Instagram, that shit ain't like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking, yeah. I give that all my attention, that I, just like I'm doing when I'm on this thing. Not because I want to be a producer, not because I want you to want my piece more. It's what this intuition of mine, this high school art teacher, he just sits there, he's partially bald, has his glasses down the end of his nose, and you just keep like, nah, that ain't gonna work, and then until he's happy. And I run everything that way. So even the most mundane project can get hours and hours of time just on the back end when I'm taking a picture of it, because that's what my intuition tells me to do. It's not, I didn't see someone else using video, using songs for their art piece, no shit like that. I ain't gonna do anything that anyone else is doing. And once people, if people start really doing the same thing I'm doing, I'll do something else, because I want to bring something different every time. I don't ever want to be mundane. I don't ever want to, oh, yeah, he was doing killer shit for a while, then he just started doing these little banger things and those quickies, which I completely respect anyone that does that, don't get me wrong. It's just not my jam. All the people I've lost in my life, I'm not gonna do shit on this thing that isn't everything I got. And I don't know, very highly driven for different reasons than a lot of people are. I don't even know where I came from with that one. So, sorry for the rambling.
You're talking about how long it takes you to...
Wow. I went off on that one. It varies. I take way too much time on everything I do, so yeah. Just as long as it takes.
Mr. Tunes.
Ah, Ryan Tunes.
Would like to know who your favorite glass artist from Idaho named Ryan.
Favorite glass artist from Idaho named Ryan? Probably be this guy Ryan Anderson. I know. No. I actually do know. He was one of the early buddies blowing glass. Still a good friend of mine. I love all the Ryans in my life. I have a lot of them too. Well, actually, the producer over there, his name's Ryan. I love him. I have a lot of Ryans in my life, and they're all pretty fucking awesome.
Okay, it's a good one.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Excited to hear what you're going to answer this.
Uh-oh.
Okay, RPM. We'd love to know, what is the weirdest thing you've ever been asked to make?
Huh. Well, that's pretty easy to come up with. Just a matter of how I'm going to say it without getting banned from YouTube. People hate me. Shit. Well, I had this guy hit me up on Facebook very early on in my career, my tenure on Facebook. He hits me up and I mean, he asks me 100 questions. I can tell he's working his way to something, and I can't tell. He's leading me every which way. Eventually gets on dildos. You know, have you made one? Yes. Did you, I mean, every question under the sun that you could ask about making dildos. And I'm like, yeah, I'm answering all the questions. Give everybody their time. And then he's like, have you ever made one that looks like your own? I was like, no. No, that's fucking weird. It took me a bit to answer him back because I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then he's like, okay, right on. And then he's like, would you? And I was like, no, that's a pretty easy answer. No, I wouldn't. And he's like, well, that brings me to the question I've been wanting to ask you this whole time. And I said, what was that? And he asked me, yowza. He asked me if I could make him one that looked like mine so he could use it on his old lady. And I can't even tell you the way he said it. It was horrible. And so I quit talking to him because I was blown away. And then his significant other gets on there and she's trying to, it was fucking weird to the, it was, yeah, that's the one that takes the cake. I've had some weird ones, but that one right there is the weirdest. That was a bit ago, maybe 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, 6, 7? Fuck, I don't even know. How the hell long's Facebook been on? It was pretty, I mean, I wasn't, yeah, so I'd say maybe 7, maybe, or something. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know him personally, I don't think. Kind of. I don't. Yes. Johnny!
Would you like to know where you're headed next? What's coming up?
I think I'm going to California for a couple weeks, Arcata. Towards the end of this month. Gonna do a purple couch thing. A couple of their deals there the 1st of November. Hang out over there with White Monkey and Jason Burris and all those cats there in Arcata, whoever else wants to hang out. Just get away from the Idaho grind. Got some classes I'm doing in March of next year with Mickelson. Have a few talks with some other folks about some other demos and classes, so more stuff all the time. Hoping to get to the Last Supper project here before it gets too crazy cold. But I got to get all my ducks in a row about that, because that's going to be my biggest project to date. I'm going to put this in the kiln. The Last Supper piece. Like I mentioned before, pieces come to me in the way of finished products. I see the piece like in the photo booth. I don't know why it works that way, but it does. And I pretty much, I don't have a lot of orders. I mean, I do customs. I'm kind of gonna shut that down a little bit, but I don't have a ton of orders, so I get to do a lot of what I want to do. I don't really think about, oh, this is popular right now, I'm gonna do it. Unless I like seeing the movie, like It. I seen the movie and just seen how crazy his face was, and I wanted to see if I could get any of the remotely the same impact on the look of his face that he has. So I'm motivated to do things that I see like that. The Last Supper piece is one that's been in my head for a while, quite a while, a couple years probably. But one day in Eugene, I woke up and fuck, all of a sudden that's the loudest voice in my head, like literally. So I had to start making plans to get this thing started so I can get rid of this loudest voice in my head telling me this is what we're doing. And so that's why I'm doing it, I guess. I mean, I've always wanted to. Doing Michelangelo's version because Michelangelo is one of my favorite artists. Yeah, I'm just gonna quiet down one of the loud voices in my head. I'm not like crazy, I don't think, for that, am I? None of the voices are telling me to kill people. So they're just, none of them. They're all just like this, like this. What about this? So yeah, it's a huge project. Gonna be a solo piece. Mostly because no one's crazy enough to jump in there with me on it, I guess. I don't know. It's gonna take probably just as much planning as it is actually doing the damn piece. So still trying to get all my ducks in a row. Or we're gonna do it. I mean, there's just gonna film the whole thing, gonna make a documentary out of the whole process, and so it takes a lot to get to that point. And so I'm somewhere in the middle of all that. Hopefully I can get on it soon so I can think of some other stuff. Yeah, I've wanted to do it. I can't remember where it initially came. It was a few years ago. But it wasn't really like, oh man, I need to do this, or oh, I can do this. Maybe it just, I didn't feel like I could do it at the time, but for whatever reason, woke up on my air mattress there in Eugene, and it was like, yep, you're doing this, so you need to get your shit in a pile so you can make this done right. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So
No, it's all usually, although, I mean, I have, get my inspiration from weird things sometimes, a flower, a tree, a car, a movie. I mean, I'm very visually stimulated in that sense, so I can get it. And usually when it's there or I get it, I have to get it done. I almost can't even wait to get to the torch to get on it, just because that's what everybody upstairs is telling me to do. So, yeah, I like that. I'm much better that way. When I start worrying about, well, I wonder what I can make that'll sell and shit like that, I'm terrible at that. It's not ruining, but it's definitely not propagating that side of my brain that I like to use. You know, I like just going with an inner intuition. Yeah, I was not like, yeah. I take it from all aspects in my life.
So when you pulled it out a few times, you kept adjusting the knobs, you were cooling down to what was going
Yeah. Yeah, actually I turned it down because it was a little warm, and then I turned it down too much, so I had to turn it back up again. So this grape's real forgiving, so I can speed up how long it takes for me to do this prep, because I can kind of lean on it a little bit with the heat, and it's pretty bulletproof. Glass alchemy? There's like the big 2 or 3 North Star Glass Alchemy. But and some that I don't know. Momka's, Troutman. All awesome. They all have, you know, I use colors from all of them. That's the thing, that you can't discount one of them, because ultimately they're going to have a color that's like, oh, that's so perfect. So I use a ton of Boral bars. That's a white color. So yeah, I use color from everyone that I can, because, you know, if a company has 50 colors, that doesn't mean you can use 50 colors. There's going to be, well, I can only use this here, and I can only use this on the inside, and if I'm going to do a milli, I can only use this color. So when you're limited, you're always looking at any other source you can get your hands on, which there's only a few, not a whole bunch.
You said a term that I wasn't familiar with until very long ago. Milli, what did I even know?
Milli is short for Millefiori. I mean, and man, I'm the wrong guy to ask history about shit, because I'm into today. I like watching documentaries and shit about history, but I'm not one to start quoting and spouting numbers. But I believe it's an Italian, old Italian kind of a thing, where you can make, essentially, I mean, to me it's a lot like sculpting. You're almost sculpting the picture, and then you're pulling it out, where you could chop it up 1,000 times and have the exact same image throughout. Maybe one of the live listeners would know, and they can say in the comments a little more if they know more about it. I have a lot of buddies that do it. I've done some myself just for when the pieces needed it. But it's a burly job. It's hot and extra fucking hot. Takes a ton of color. I mean, they're definitely not for everybody. You gotta know what the hell you're doing, you can end up with a lot of color and no way to sell it. So, but it's really cool.
What, there's going to be some metal incorporated in this piece yet?
Yes. The Bitcoin piece has some Bitcoin milli in it. RECAST out of Las Vegas did for me. Also had some cold work done by Glasshopper1468 on Instagram, Robert. Fucking awesome. Awesome buddy. Lives pretty close to me. Might not be able to divulge how close. So yeah, it does have milli in it. And it's the symbol of the Bitcoin, which I think you've seen in one of the previews on my YouTube. Yow! On the YouTube channel. Not a bad cut. See, that's from not being hot enough. I'm trying to just fucking ram through it. Got another question?
Yes, I do.
I got one from the chat.
Let's hear it. Yow!
Derek Wilson wants to know, what torch did you learn on? Have you always used Herbert Arnold's?
No. I have, what was his name?
Derek Wilson.
Derek? Derek Wilson. No, I started on a, I think I started on a CC, regular CC burner, but literally only just a few hours on it. Once I was like, well, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing. I had a 67 Camaro, an RS, fastest car I've ever had, 600 horse RS Camaro that I sold to buy my first torch. I bought a CC Plus with a pedal and a few hand tools, and worked on that torch for 7-8 years, and then traded into the 50 that I just sold, and I've been on that 50 since, and just got this 65 about a month ago or something. But yeah, once and I didn't get the Herbie knowing fucking nothing. It was just like, oh, my buddy had a torch, I had a big chandelier that he wanted, and he's like, how about I trade you the torch for the chandelier? And I'm like, done. And like I said, I didn't even know it was a number. I didn't know shit about it. I just hopped on it and turned it on, and well, now I know how much I frickin' love this thing for sculpting. It's, I couldn't want for any other torch. I really couldn't. If I did big work, I'd probably want a GTT, because they're just frickin' animals on the heat, but not doing anything too crazy thick. Any other live questions? It's friggin' hot.
Bleepers says, any plans on working with Spin in the near future? Your styles complement each other so well.
Oh, thank you. That was Gleepers?
Bleepers.
You know, I was just hanging out with Mikey about 2 weeks ago. I went and hung out in Cowboy Shop. Did some work with Anil, Nick, and Tyrell, with Roan. Hung out with Creep, Stratosphere. All awesome people. And we talked about some projects we're wanting to do. Definitely thought about getting into something kind of greasy again. I mean, we did Einstein together, and then a shop in Spokane bought it. Justin with Peace of Mind, awesome person as well. And he's like, well, I want a Tesla piece. And I said, you know, for the same price? He's like, yeah, whatever. Just make sure you know, I was thinking maybe say something about the tower and maybe something about, I don't know, Edison or something. And then, of course, we went fucking shit hell crazy with it. But, yes, Mike is awesome. He actually, when he come to hang out with me in Eugene that year, he says, I've got 2 weeks. And he left 4.5 months later. And we did Einstein, we did Tesla, we did a Black Lives Matter piece, or started it, which I still have my half in there in the house. Probably never to be finished, but yeah, so hopefully soon. I love Mike. We learned a lot about each other, and yeah, I just love him to death. Almost there. Whee! I was gonna try and get this done beforehand, but I was up late working on this and that and the other damn thing. Yep. This is what I call the blow hose a go-go. It's pretty much for a guy. Mine's a little freaking beat up right now. Usually when you're doing this, you'll put this mouthpiece in your mouth and just bite on it with your teeth, and it's horrible. I mean, horrible. And I lost a piece years ago because I was sitting here chewing on this tip, and the hose filled up with saliva, and I lost the piece. It collapsed. I can't even remember, but it went to hell on me. And so I made this thing. I made several. But I ultimately came to this design because I didn't have to tape it every inch like you would normally, so that when you bent it, it wouldn't kink. You'd have to tape it every inch. So then I went through all the tapes, black tape, blue tape, every flipping tape on the planet. And this one sticks to your neck, and this one rolls up, and this one pulls your hair, and yowza. Then I was just like, okay, this tape thing's fucking lame. And I sewed this little sock thing that goes over the top of it. And that was it. That was the secret weapon, was the fabric. I mean, it's around a gear tie. It's really not like secret thing. It's really easy. Go make it yourself. I make very, very little money on these things when I sell them. I'm really just selling them. I do sell them. I actually took them off my Instagram because it was getting fucking insane, and I was having a hard time keeping up. And plus, I was still kind of working through the design. I used to have O-rings on the outside, which now I have. Mine still has O-rings, but on the latest ones I've been selling, I put a Velcro strap there, so it lasts a lot longer. And so soon I'm gonna hit everybody that bought these before with the O-rings. I'm gonna give them the kit that has the Velcro straps and a winter and summer cover, because apparently my first covers were too hot. And I'm gonna offer them to everyone that owns one of the first runs, for just shipping and whatever. But yeah, it was really just because I know how much trouble I had holding on to this damn thing in my mouth. So I did it because I just hated seeing my buddies doing the same damn thing. So yeah, they'll be back on my page here real soon. And I have a website coming real soon. The launch, I'm not quite sure on launch yet. Real soon, next few weeks, probably 2 to 3 weeks. I'm looking over here.
What's the website address?
Malaquias.Glass.
.com?
No .com, you know, we moved past that. We don't want to adhere to any of that. No. Yeah, Malaquias.Glass, that's all you need. There's just a floater page sitting on there now as we're working on it. I'm working on some tools I'm really excited about. This is one of them. Pair of mashers I made years ago. I've used these for every day for 3 years, and they are, I mean, as important as the torch to me in my sculpting. So I'm making these, gonna have those soon, real soon. Actually got the first 100 about a week ago and needed to do some tweaking to make them right, but and again, that's just because they're badass and they work freaking awesome. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna make a bunch of shit and sell it and make it. The stuff, I have other tools too that are coming that are super awesome. But all these are just to help people be better at what they're doing and make it a little easier. That's all. It means nothing else. I'm not trying to buy this Chinese product and sell it, make money, and make it all this shit. Ain't like that. I'm trying to make tools that people can use and work and makes their shit easier. I've got so much awesome feedback about these blow hoses, and I love that. People saying it's just saved their ass, it's saved pieces and all this stuff. So it's cool. That's all I want to know is that, hell yeah, it helped me. I've had people say they had to get dental work from holding on to these fucking things in their mouth. So yeah, it's easy. It's right there. It's works great.
Sean 5050.
Sean.
He wants you to talk about eyelids, approaches, effects, expressions.
Of the face? You know, when I started doing faces, I always just did an eye, a closed eye. At the time, mostly, one reason was because there was people doing eyes, which is retarded, but this is how my brain works. I was like, oh, there's guys doing eyes out there, and I don't want to get, you know, be running in the same lane or whatever. I'll just do closed eyes every time. So I just put a bit of glass on the face or right there in the eye area, and then just put a slit across it. Works real good. So that's a good first eye. Just a bit of glass, cook it in so there's no edges, and then cut a line across it, and bam, that's a closed eye. Looks great. And then I came to a point where I wasn't getting some impact on these faces. I felt like, well, shit, man, this nose is good, these lips are good. But man, I could sure use some help from the eyes. I mean, I'm not getting shit help, they're just there. And so I started doing eyes. And you know, one of the problems I was seeing with everybody's eyes is it looked like they were stuck on the outside of their head. No depth at all. So, I mean, ultimately I just wanted to work on making the eye look realistic. So, I mean, most of the problems I see with eyes is depth. I mean, look at somebody's face and tell me look how far their eyes set in their socket. I mean, their face, it's back in there. It's not out here, it's not where, you know. So I just a lot of times I do the eyes first and I just build the face around it. I have gone the other way. It doesn't really matter, you can go either way you want, but the depth helps. Milli eyes are pretty awesome. I have a lot of milli for eyes. I've made a lot, but I don't use them. I can't control where they point. I mean, if you don't have the eyes right, they won't look at you. They're just there. I can't even tell you how many times I've made faces and no one's seen them because the eyes were just there. I mean, you get the position of the eyes, which is everything. It comes alive. I mean, I build a weird connection with the faces I make because it looks at me the whole time I'm working on it, and if I really nail the eye right, it's looking at me with feeling behind the eyes, not just fucking eyeballs. And that's when I know, or if I got that one, I nailed it. And I don't know how many eyeballs I put in, lid on, everything done, and was like, what the fuck is this guy looking at? And start over, kick it in the water jug, and move on. So if this shit ain't right, you ain't seeing it. Which there's not a lot of that. I'll wipe eyes off now. If it ain't right, I'll just wipe them off and start all over. I'm not as crazy as I was before, where I just break the whole thing and start over. So there's a lot of nuances to faces. I've seen even not technical faces at all have a ton of expression, and that's a whole other thing. I would just suggest playing with mouth angles and eye angles, and that's what's going to give you your expression more so. Look at stuff, look at happy people, look at sad people, not actual sad and happy people, but like online, put in happy faces and notice the little nuances that make it happy. You know, their eyes are smiling. There's, you know, it's a lot more than just the face or the mouth. So a lot to be taken in consideration there. Human forms always come really easy for me. I don't know why, but I enjoy the shite out of it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. It's really hot right here. What you got for me? Got a big crooked sucker. Bends to the left, just like normal. What you got?
Sweeney Glass.
Sweeney.
We'd like to know what your favorite 5 colors to sculpt with.
Top 5. I'd have to say Boral Bar's #1. I mix it in everything. Any mix, I don't care if it has anything to do with white, I try and put that in there because it settles it down, it makes a nice creamy product. Boral Bar's white, #1, bar none. I like my flesh tone probably as much because it's got a bunch of that in there. It's got CADs, but it has a ton of Boral white in there. So if I have a big piece completely covered in flesh tone, I mean, I almost could bench cool it. It's such a stable color to use. I guess most of what I'm going to say is mixes. I guess there's a lot of colors that are a motherfucker. Oh man, I can't even tell you how many pieces that were perfect. I mean, well, I can say that. I mean, they were well done, and the only problem was this color I used. Didn't like this or didn't like that, and no way you could do shit about it. Wasn't fixing. And we all have that. So I've got into mixing a lot of my color. I'll just look at whatever I'm making. Oh, I'm making Mr. Magoo. Okay, let's see his headband. Okay, and I've gotten better at knowing what colors to throw at it. Usually it don't take me many tries to match a color. That comes pretty easy. Just need to do it. I don't do drill mixing. It's too aggressive on it for my liking. I get a nice creamy product with my hands. Ooh. Can't believe I just said that. Yeah, anyway, mixing. I like mixing my colors. It's really nice not to have to because it's a pain in the butt.
So Mathew Neck asked on the chat, is that a pickle Rick?
Giant pickle Rick. No, I did. And don't fucking hate me for this, but I haven't even seen Rick and Morty. Yeah, I know. I'm an ass. I'm an ass. And I have an order actually right now for I had to do a Rick Pendy rig for Cosmo, and he wants me to do a Morty Pendy rig as well. I'm gonna do whatever I can to get him to let me do some other kind of Pendy rig, because it's not my jam. I see a lot of guys online doing it and killing it, and I just don't, there's nothing there for me. It's not like, oh, but look at his Morty. No, so I mean, I would be more into it that way for sure. I mean, I always lean more towards making it a little harder on myself. I'm terrible. So I don't like layups so much. Sorry, Harold. I know I'm supposed to be liking my layups a bit more. I like to challenge myself. That really makes me play up. Yeah. No pickle Rick, Matt. It's the wrong color. No pickles Rick. Chemo. Actually, it is Chemo. Everyone says it wrong. Everyone says chemo, but it's Chemo from Hawaii. Yes, he's fucking awesome guy and just astounding.
Kiln wants to know when your guys' collab is going to be done.
I don't know. Hard telling. Soon. Soon, it's right there in the box. Soon. Soon, Kimo. My brother. I would really like to just take a little quickie. You guys wait, smoke them real quick. Had to.
A couple more times, describe what you're doing flipping there.
This torch builds up carbon. And so every so often, it's way better with my air. It cuts way down on that. But it takes a little little scrapey scrape. All right, so I think I'm doing torso time. So I wonder if I want to do the legs first. Got a question? Love the questions.
What's the overall height going to be of this? Like, how big is this piece going to be?
This piece is a couple feet tall-ish. We're kind of still not completely sure. Gonna build it around the girl. I mean, the girl's she's gonna be kind of a bigger girl, maybe at least a foot tall. And she's gonna be dancing near a pole. And it's kind of a mashup of the newest currency and the oldest profession, kind of an angle like that. Got some really techie cool things on it. It's gonna be fun. I got to get the girl done, and then it's gonna have a glass case go around her and whatnot. So yeah, gonna be a neat piece.
Glass would like to know what inspired you to start sculpting.
I don't even know. I started so long ago when I was real young with the clay. I don't even know. Whatever it is, it's in me pretty thick, because I've done flips and I've done a ton of the other things that people do. I can do all that stuff. This is what challenges me the most. Unless you're making the very same thing every day, the very, very same thing, if you're sculpting, you're ultimately going to run into something you haven't ran into every time. And so I think in me liking and glutton for punishment, I guess it just works out. Like I said, I like the bumpier road. So yeah, somewhere in there, dropped on my head when I was young. There's some things in there. There's some problems. No, there's not.
You've got a lung glass.
Longer.
What do you feel is the best thing humanity has accomplished?
Jesus. Well, right now it's kind of hard to find any of that. I mean, oh, jeez. As funky as the world is right now, as much hate is going on, it's kind of hard to even feel like there's shit going on good. I mean, I know what we need is empathy beyond anything. That'd fix everything. Period. It's one thing we tend to have a huge lack of. So, I don't know if it's going to happen in your or my lifetime. I sure hope something changes, because man, I hate the way shit's going right now. It's not fun to watch. Not fun to watch. All I can say is we need more love, period. Longer. Don't have enough of that.
Just wants to know, are we living in a Elon Musk simulation?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I would. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Glass.
Oh yeah, he's the one who I got this torch from. He's the Herbert master. Herbie master. What'd he say?
He'd like to know, how did you become such a baller?
Oh boy. I'm no baller. I don't know. I don't even know what it would take for me to think I ever was. I'm sure that was a very nice thing to say, and I appreciate it. But I don't know about all that. Yeah, I don't know.
He also wants to know where you get all your torches.
Yes, I know a guy. Yes, he's awesome. He's saved my ass. This thing here, this is gonna make everything I make better.
So how did you find out? Did he have it for sale? Or?
He did have. Actually, we have been in conversation for quite a while. I called him one time. I went to do a collab in Spokane with Glass years ago, and I rolled up and my torch will not work. It worked fine at home, packed it up in a fancy case, and pulled it out and it didn't work, and so I was scrambling, what the hell can I do? And so we've been in conversations like that over the past few years. He's probably been needing to see my old torch forever. And of course I knew about him through, you know, we follow each other or whatever, and everyone knows Jason Howard that knows anything about Herbie's knows that he's the man. And actually, when I was collabing with Glass, Royal Glass, another badass old schooler, he was telling me that Jason Howard's the only man in the U.S. that he'd let touch his Herbie. So yeah, it's saying something. He knows what he's talking about. I'm just, I used these rods down until they were too short. They were burning my hand, so I'm just making them a little longer. Gonna pull that torso out and start shaping it. Stalling, I guess, right now. Got another one for me? Woo-wee.
Here's one for you. You might answer this. What was the inspiration behind the Tesla? It's from Mathew Neck.
Actually, well, Justin bought Tesla or Einstein and liked the historical side of it and all that, and he's actually the one that come up with it's because of him. He was like, yeah, how about do a Tesla piece, I'll take it. Of course, it ended up being 4 times what the price we agreed on. It was another 4 times that once we were done with it, which thank God he was okay with. he let us go crazy with it, and oh man, we did. All right. What you got?
I got one.
Here.
Oh, wait. Alright. Hex-Glass.
Hex?
Hex. I'm just going to read his whole comment and something.
Uh-oh.
I got a question from Hex-Glass in Oklahoma. He writes, Dear Malaquias.Glass, I have learned how to gather cadmium colors, but small welds I still fight bubbling. What can you recommend?
Ooh. That's a good one. You know, trying to think what I do. I guess a lot of times I'll take all the oxygen, pretty much a really propane-y flame on my mini torch, you know, so instead of like a typical tight flame like this for welding, it would be more of, you know, a little longer flame. And I'll even get in here and touch the glass, like instead of being way out here, sometimes I'll get in there and actually massage the glass with the flame touching the glass. I'm in my brain, no one's taught me this, and I don't know that I mean, it works for me. It's less of an impact than the flame is hitting it. I mean, it's the softest way I can come up with to hit that point. So I just draw up my mini torch, and I like just kind of massage it, trying the coolest I can be. That's what I've come up with. So, above that, if your heat's right before you make the connection, you will have less problem, as we all know that. So if you're getting ready to put 2 pieces together, just make damn sure, double damn sure that they're at the right temp, because it's gonna make it 1,000 times easier. A lot of times, sometimes you don't even need to hit the mini torch out. You're just like, shit, it's done, it's ready. The problem is when you have to get that little flame on that little bit of glass, it's tough. If I have to, like I said, I'll just draw out that center flame. But moreover, should be done beforehand.
Simple run-in farmer.
Yeah.
Have you used the Herbert Arnold Kleenex hand torch?
You know, I've had a couple buddies that had them. Seems like they'd be pretty badass. I've heard nothing but good things about anything Herbie. My buddy Hoobs out of California has a little Herbie hand torch I've never even seen, and it's awesome. They make a ton of torches, so yeah, I haven't myself put one to everyday use. Someday I will, I'm sure. But for now, it's just this little mini I have here. It's warm.
Swiss Perkins.
Yes. He's a stallion.
Have you ever seen a real third nipple in person?
No, I haven't. I mean, I know they're out there. I've heard they're out there, and I would most definitely want to see it just to say you've seen it. Is that one? No, it is not. It is not, is it? Okay. So yeah, Swiss Perk. I just seen my first one. The producer, website guy, Ryan, apparently packs a third nipple around, and he just flashed it to me. So yeah, I have. It's interesting. Not a lot of areola with it. A lot of nipple. Quite short on the.
You want to know something even more crazy?
We might as well.
I have a third nipple. Mine is on my nipple.
See, I have double nipples on one areola. Fuck, jeez. What a perfect time to ask a question. I had no idea I was surrounded by all this stuff. Damn. Well, you know, thanks Swiss for bringing that out. Now, these are my buddies, and now how am I supposed to look at them in the face from here on out? No, and they got carrying around them extra nipples.
Hieroglyphics.
Yes.
I think we've already answered this, but I'll ask it anyway. How do you like the 65 current?
Well, I had a 50, although it's more or less a 40, just a little more spread out, from what I gather. I love it. It's the same badass torch. I can't say that I noticed any other difference other than it works really good, because mine didn't. And just so stoked with it. I love it, absolutely love it. I can't wait to push myself a little more on harder stuff. I feel like stuff just got a little bit easier for me, so I really want to test myself with it. McCaffrey? The what? Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
What do you do if a small section in the piece you're working becomes tired and starts to get hazy? Can you skim the surface or take the section out completely?
I definitely ran into that. I'm sure we all have. And I've done both. Sometimes, a lot of times the skimmings can do it. Skim it and then just recover. I mean, everything I do is over clear, so anytime, I mean, I'm not restricted by being encased. When you're encased, you can't do a lot of surface anything. You can't do a lot of surface repairs. I mean, you can, but they show everything, and you can't, because you can't get to that inner layer of color, how you can't control it like I can with it on the outside. So that's why I don't encase anything, because I want to be able to get at the color. I'm always adding color. It just doesn't work for me. So what the hell is that?
Who was it?
Yeah. Dan. Did that answer that, Connor? So yes, definitely skim it off. If it's encased, I'm probably going to have to take the section off. But there's always, not always, but there's generally ways to kind of camouflage it, not like covering cracks up, but I'm sure everybody's added a bump or two over shit before. I mean, I don't do that a whole bunch anymore, but so I don't do a lot of vessel work in that, but I have done it. I have in the past.
And that's all the questions for this.
Yay!
Do we have more questions from YouTube?
There's one here from Weepers, and he asks, what was the inspiration behind the small series you did a while back, like the Volkswagen and Smalls and his pup? Love the attention to detail on such a small scale.
That's awesome. You know, someone asked me to, I can't remember, it seemed like someone asked if I could do a car or something, and so I made the car first, and it took me forever. I mean, I worked on this little fucking thing forever, and I was done then. I was hooked. It was really hard, and it tested the shit out of me, and I was in love at that point. And so I did the kid, the teenager with the angst, and the dog, and I was hooked then. I still really like it, but there was probably a year and a half since I've really done many, because my torch, the last year I haven't been able to get any small flames. So everything you've seen come out of me in the last, I mean, since before the DFO last year, it was on a torch that was just beat up. It needed help, needed a tune, a Howard tune. So I've been limping for a minute. So I've been thinking about all kinds of small stuff I've been wanting to do lately, just kind of behind on a few things right now. So I'm definitely going to do it again. Just the simple fact that I love it. It's really fucking hard and fun. I've actually spent spent hours on a little thing that just to take a picture of, literally, because there's almost shit else you can do with it. It's so small. I've got a little bike up there on the shelf that's just micro. I've had people want to buy them, just like, Jesus, I don't know how I'd even, I mean, yeah, I give a lot of them away. So I love doing the minis. Alright, that took a while. See if we can make a big butt. Let's see. Do I want to do the head up here? Yeah. So you always got to think a couple moves ahead. Because, okay, I got to make a big girl. I can look at her torso, this being the head area and this being her butt. Okay, that's fine. So I think ahead, I'm going to have to make her shoulders, or at least close, and punny here, and then do her butt. Then if I do her butt, then I'd leave her middle section. But if I just put her butt here, okay, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll put her butt down here, so I'm going to start with her butt and get that shaped out. And then when I'm happy with that, I'll probably punny or switch my blow tube back to this side, and then shape out her top, shoulders, belly, everything. Probably put her boobs on. Put her boobs on, then I'll put the point back on her shoulders, so now her butt's down here. Then I can put the legs on. Is that the way I want to go? So butt, make her butt. Get all happy with that. Blow point. Take it off. Do her belly. And her boobs and her shoulders. So I'll have her on the, let's see. Have her there with her butt sticking. Boobs. I mean, I guess I could do it that way. It seems somewhat reasonable. I'm going to run into a problem though eventually. Let's see. So say I got the legs on. Got the legs on her. And now I've got this on her shoulders and her body and her butt and her legs. So I've got this fucking long ass thing. To what end? Interesting. I mean, I could punny to her ankles. No. I'm gonna want to finish her feet, so I'm not finishing her feet with all of her body sitting out there hanging out in breeze. So finish the leg and the feet, put them on, get a nice double bridge on both feet, and then take her shoulder thing off. So now she's held up by her feet. I guess that would work. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Butt, shape her butt out, move the blow point another 10 times or so, I don't know. No. I feel like that's the least amount of variables in that process, or in that order. So, making the butt. And I don't need to look at a picture for this. I have one firmly planted into my brain. I did a few of them probably. But yeah. You know, they say that this is when I heard this in art class, and I didn't take art I was in shop and shit more in high school than art. But I remember him saying that an artist can picture, an artist that draws, or whatever draws pictures, can see the image so well in his mind that it's just like, well shit, it looks like this, you know, I don't have to, it's easy to put on the paper because the image is so much in his mind. So I feel like I'm the same, I can do the same thing sculpting wise, but I cannot draw. It doesn't work in the same same way for me on the drawing side, so. But I can definitely, some things that I don't have loaded in my brain, I've got to look at to get every little nuance, especially people's faces. When you're doing people's faces and an actual person you're trying to make it look like, everything matters. Angles of the nose, ears, eyes, cheekbones, I mean, everything. So that's how, you know, I was always wanted to ask these people that were doing these badass sculptures of people, and how the hell are you making that thing look like this fucking guy? I mean, how are you doing it? And I have yet to officially talk to any of these people, but I mean, all I can do is match every fucking angle that I can, every single nuance, everything that I can. I'm sure that's how they do it, I'm sure. I mean, what else you got to go with? So you're looking at side profiles and fronts and getting the depth of the cheekbone and all that shit, and it's a lot of fun. But it's hard. I mean, I've done Biggie 3 or 4 times and I still don't feel like I've nailed him, and fucking pisses me off. I wanna, one of these days he's gonna come out just money, but it makes me want to. Definitely, I will most definitely knock him out. Show. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Definitely have a better chance, or for sure. But it's, yeah, that stuff is hard. I didn't, this guy hit me up about, he wanted a fucking Nicolas Cage pipe. So someone hit me up about doing a Nicolas Cage pipe, and I was all about it. I was like, oh, it sounds awesome, and hung pictures of Nick all over the bench, watched movies. I mean, I got into it. So worked all day and night on this thing, just a head, but it was a pipe, and the bowl in the back of his head. And for all intents and purposes, he went into the kiln as Nicolas Cage. But he fucking came out Bill Clinton somehow. I don't know, it was the high temps. You know, I don't know. Bill Clinton came out, so I'm like, fuck, oh man, I hit this guy up, and I told him the same thing. Just like, you know, I don't know, man, it was Nick when he went in, and I slept, and couldn't have been very long. I mean, opened it up, and sure as shit, it's Bill Clinton, and of course he's like, oh my gosh, send me Bill. And so then, like a month later, he hits me up and says, I want you to do my buddy, make a head pipe of my buddy. And he had a real round face and a real particular way he shaved his sideburns, and a lot there to go after, and I fucking nailed it. And he ended up sending me a picture of the kid did, or of the guy sent of himself holding his head pipe up next to his head, and it looked just like him, and I was hooked, man. That was it. That was too damn cool. Oh, Dolly. Sometime after that, I'm not sure, and I don't even know if it was I don't even think it was an order. I think pretty sure that was just a kind of I want to do this. I've loved him forever too, so. Yeah, I got asked to do myself too once, which was kind of a weird deal. I got this text, and the guy's like, yeah, I was thinking maybe you could do a couple carb caps for him. And he's like, yeah, hell yeah. What you thinking? He's like, I was thinking you could do Bernie Sanders and you. And so I'm looking at this DM like, not really knowing what to think. So I just kind of ignored that he said you, and was like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to do Bernie. Yeah, I love him. Well, definitely, I'm down. And he's like, yeah, and you. And I didn't know what the fuck to think, because walked over to my buddy. I was like, dude, look at this guy. I don't know what the fuck, man. And he's like, yeah, dude, artists do it all the time, self-portraits, you know. And I was like, oh shit, all right, I'm on it. And it totally changed. First I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And I happened to stare at my fucking ass while I made myself. Was the worst part. I happened to stare at a picture of myself, but somewhere in the middle of it I could see myself in this fucking thing in my hand. It was awesome, and I ended up thanking him, just like, oh man, thanks for giving me that opportunity. I would never have done that, and it was awesome. I really was stoked that I got to do it. It's kind of crazy. So right now I'm just trying to get this big old behind kind of somewhere in the shape that I want. Gathering. I want a lot of glass there to mess with. I'm sorry about all the F words. I don't talk a lot. You guys are making me talk a lot. Don't hold it against me. I mean well. I mean well. Any other live questions? Why you say fuck so much? Why you say fuck?
Mathew asked, a little off last topic, but how about your band? Do you plan on putting any type of advertisement for yourself on that monster?
I actually thought about it. I'm gonna do some 2018 Summer of Love tour next year. Gonna have film the whole thing. Gonna at least start on the West Coast. Have guest riders come on for a couple the different legs of the trip, and got a bunch of cool stuff planned. So I know it'll have some advertising on. I don't know how crazy. Thought about wrapping it, but don't want to look like a damn parade float or nothing. So I don't know. Definitely want to have it done, ready to rock by springtime next year. I'm super excited. I was actually going to go get thinking about getting COE 33 for the plates, which only really glass blowers you can kind of get that, but anyone asked me some smart shit. It's the coefficient of expansion. That's the number on that scale that boro sits at. So like soft glass is up like 80, 90, boro is at 33. And you can't get any deeper than that because I don't know. I think that's more of a brand because it's boro, so it's the same thing that I think that's more brand than an actual. I think it's like Tupperware in a sense. Tupperware is just a company, doesn't actually have anything to do with what it is. I think that's more what Pyrex is. But man, I'm telling you, I went to college and shit, But I don't want to be a thinker. I just want to. No. No. I did a few glasses. I did glasses, a lot of more vessel work early on. But no, not a lot anymore. Sculpting all the time. I don't know. Smoke with? Yes. Oh, yes. It's taking a bit, I know. You can't rush that behind, you see. Gotta take your time on behind. So honestly, I'm just trying to get her hips. I want to leave enough glass. I'm real close to having enough. Where's all the people watching from? Can they get that in the comments? Okay, so shit. It's gonna be hard to do a lot of this butt without the back. It's not far off though. So at this point I want to pick where I want to go. I'm gonna let that cool a little bit because I want to heat up the pelvic area or the front bum area and mash that down. So I want to let the bubble cool down so that it all don't squish. I only want to mash that front down a little bit. My glasses are hot. It's really hot. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got a lot of glass there. She's thick. She's a thick one. So, mashing it down, widening it out, kind of giving me the hip thing. You can look on the side view, got a bump out for a butt already. I mean, the ass is well on its way just from that move right there. I mean, really human forms all shapes. So when I look at something I want to sculpt, I bust it all down into shapes. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing, I mean, you can get particular with like making her butt poke out more or higher or smaller. You can do that at the end, but at first you really just need to start with the basic shape. I mean, and we're pretty close there. Once I heat this up and cut that butt crack, that'll push that bubble in a bit, which is what I want. I'll heat up enough of the bottom so when I make that butt crack cut, it will push that whole bubble and give me more hip. So I want to take care of two things when I do that. Alright, how far? Much close is that? How close are we from that? Sweet. Well, it looks like we're winding it up. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. The first time we collectively as a group done this, and I hope you guys dug it. Talked more than I ever fucking talk. So I don't know, I hope you had a good time. Definitely give me some feedback. There'll be an edited version of this there's a bunch of other cameras in here filming, so there'll be another version of this all tied together and all nice and done upright. So I hope you guys liked it. I appreciate you guys hanging out, checking it out. Much love.